Angela joins us in Lexington, Kentucky. Angela, how can we help?
Hi. Thank you guys for taking my call. I was actually hoping that, Ken, you would be on the show today because my question is specifically for you.
Okay.
And I work with some young adults and kids. I'm a little bit older than them, so I call them all kids. And I am trying to mentor them, kind of, sort of, to stay away from debt and things because I don't want them to have the same regrets that I have, graduating college and going into, their lives as adults. And so I hear on the show sometimes you telling people kind of what kind of questions to ask themselves as far as careers and like their purpose in life and things like that. And
Sure.
so I'm setting up a library budget day kind of with some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to ask those questions so that I can kind of give them a better idea of what they want their futures to look like. Because some have an idea, some don't.
Mm-hmm.
And some are just choosing college just to choose college. And I'm like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. Well, so let me give you a very basic set of questions that really it's the whole methodology that I teach. And this is how someone gets clear. And this is how we take this big, giant idea of purpose that seems so intimidating and so mythical and so hard to figure out, and we simplify it. So here are the questions. What do they do best? What do they do best? That's talent. Every person on the planet was born with talent. They'll acknowledge that. So we want to just begin to have some fun conversations with them. Let's not make this big career-oriented conversation. Let's take the pressure off of young adults because they don't have a ton of life experience. So we just start talking about what do you do best? Hard skills, soft skills, right? So for one person, they might be really gifted artistically, right? Another person might be very good mechanically. What do they do best? That's a hard skill. Then the soft skills, otherwise known as people skills. So you've got hard skills and people skills. What do they do best? Then the second question is, what work do you love to do? Now, again, the younger the person, the more exploration they're going to have to do on this question because they don't have 10 years of work. Maybe they don't even have a degree yet, as you've talked about. They don't have a major, so they're still trying to figure it out. But what work do they love to do? And I would break it down to task and function. When you think about doing work one day, work that you think might be enjoyable, or even in high school, if you begin to wonder about it, or you saw somebody else do something, you saw them at career day, even as an 8th grader, you went, that's interesting. We want to begin to have the conversation and say, what kind of work do you think you would enjoy doing? Just the task or the role itself. And then finally, what results do you want to put out in this world? And all work create results. So this is fun for somebody young because now we get away from career titles, we get away from paths, and we just go, what contribution would you like to make to the world through your work? And there's a 3-part question within this one, okay? I know I'm hitting you with a lot of questions, but this is the key.
You're fine.
These questions allow people to make everything personal. And so they dig. Who are the people they most want to help? And when they begin to think of the people they most want to help, they can also identify this. What's the problem they have or the desire they have? Doesn't always have to be a problem. It could be a desire. A 19-year-old could say, I want to help people that have a desire to look beautiful. And so that could turn into a whole career. Esthetician, cutting hair, whatever. Makeup artist, whatever. Clothing designer. So
personal trainer.
Yeah. So we're looking at who are the people I most want to help, the problem or desire those people have, and then what's the solution to that problem or desire that I most get fired up about? Now, when we start talking about that third little part, the solution to the problem or the desire, then the ideas about occupation begin to kind of surface. And more importantly, what I'm giving you here is a conversation starter and then a conversation returner. Have these conversations over and over. Have them put out real answers. Have them then talk to men and women that are doing the work that they're kind of throwing out there as maybes. And I think the younger that you can get them thinking about this and exploring and discovering and talking to others, that's going to be really, really good. And I would point you to our Get Clear Career Assessment. We've got a 20-minute assessment online that if you're 18, 19, you're still going to get some good from it, even if you don't have a lot of work experience. And you can get that at RamseySolutions.com. And that's a wonderful little tool that'll give them a purpose statement, a working purpose statement that's not in stone, but they can begin to have a more detailed conversation.
It's great.
Yeah. So I appreciate the call. And John, you were in the education industry. Part of the thing that I think I'm trying to fight through our traditional education model, and this comes from culture and parents are kind of getting it from culture, is that we're sending kids off to colleges that have massive amounts of pressure to pick the right major and just figure it all out and get the absolute best right job out of college. I get that. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. But to me, where we're eliminating the discovery that I think needs to happen from 18 to 21 and just diving deep on that simple of a conversation, Well,
I remember when my son was in first grade, they were talking about what college you're going to go to.
Yeah, it's nuts to me.
I was thinking, he is learning numbers, dude.
Right.
Right. I was 35. I don't know what I want to do with my life back then. You know what I mean? So, the pressure we put on people from ages 6 to it's just bananas.
So that little simple process is just about
self-discovery.
By
the way, what you just said about I want to help people look their best, you can become a chemist. You can create the weight room equipment. You can run a gym. There's 1,000 ways to solve that problem.
That's exactly right.